Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good night to you, wherever you may be watching me from tonight. I am super, 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 super excited to let you all know that we finally made it to day 30, the day 30 of my personal life challenge. Trust me, if I say I am not excited today, I'll be lying, okay? I am so excited. Like it felt so long. There were ups and downs, but finally, I made it to day 30 of my personal life challenge. Okay. Oh, now I need to go on Instagram again. I know why Instagram be acting slow. All right. So I am excited to be on here tonight. Thankful to God for life. Thankful to God for strength. Thankful to God for wisdom and the grace to be able to start this journey and get to the last day. It's not the last day technically, but in my head, I wanted to do 30 days. And today is May 30th. Okay? I am still in May 30th, people. So if you went ahead of me and went into May 31st, welcome to the end of the month, but I am in May 30th. All right? I'm excited that I'm able to make it this far. All right. And tonight I have a very interesting topic that I hope is going to, you know, inspire you. And I am so happy that this tonight's topic came up when I was talking to a friend of mine or an associate, let's put it that way, that we're having a conversation, and I'm like, you know what? Thank you. I got a word for tonight. I got a word for tonight's chat with Themmy. So I want to welcome you officially to tonight, day 30 of Chat with Themmy. And it's been an exciting journey. It's been a journey of learning. It's been a journey of mind shifting and provoking thoughts. Tonight, we are going to be talking about perfectionism breeds procrastination. Okay? Perfectionism breeds procrastination. And I could not be any happier to have Hi Digital Trends Marketing. That's my Instagram greetings. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you're watching from LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, I want to welcome you officially to day 30 of my Chat with Themmy Life Challenge. I am so happy. I am so happy that I was able to get to this level, right? Because it took almost everything out of me to be able to get here. And that's the main purpose of this challenge, okay? Tonight we're going to be looking at perfectionism breeds procrastination. And it was not by mistake today I started our conversation. It was not by mistake that our conversation went the way it went for me to be able to get the topic, because this just kind of flows into, you know, you starting something and you getting to the finish line. Okay? Uh, um, a lot of times when we have great ideas, we have wonderful ideas. We're looking to make a decision. We're planning to do something. Sometimes we are held back because of our desire for perfection. Oh, I need to get my lighting right. I need to be in a quiet space. Oh, I need to be behind a desk. I need to be in an office like kind of vibe so I can be encouraged to continue. And if I tell you it's not by mistake that this topic came, because it spoke directly to me. Okay. So it all started today. I had called a friend by mistake, and he was like, "Yo, sorry I missed your call. I was doing something and I didn't get to my phone on time." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, it was a mistake." So we just catch up a little bit, and then I started asking him about his podcast journey, about the work he's doing, and stuff like that. And then, boom, this stuff became about. And, he shared his story, and I told him I really appreciate him for sharing that story with me. He shared his story of how he had to delete 10 solid videos that he had invested his time, his energy, and his resources in because he looked at it, he watched it, and he's like, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I looked in the video. I don't like the way the lighting was. I don't like, I sound a little off, or my voice is not, And he was like, Thelma, at some point, I was pointing out my flaws from the video I had recorded before anybody spotted the errors or spotted what I needed to improve. And then he said a friend of his told him that, you know what? If you're trying to perfect everything, you may not be able to start. You know, you may push yourself off so bad and you may not be able to get started. So what you want to do is you want to be able to pray to God about this that you're going to do, get started, and let God guide you along the way. And when he said that, that just took me back to when I started off in the first place. In 2021, I started chat with Themmy, and then I experienced some setbacks and some, hurdles. And then I'm like, okay, let me take a break. Let me get back a little bit. And then, go back to the drawing board, get, point out some things I could better, some things I could work on, and stuff like that, and then come back better. And then guess what? I started convincing myself that everything was not perfect. I needed it to be perfect before I can get on with chat with Timmy. A few weeks went by, a month came, the next month came. Before you know, 2021 was ended, and we jump into 2022. Before you know, oh, I'm gonna get it going. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. Before you know, sorry, 2022 was gone. And then we went into 2023, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start this year. I had even reached out to a few guests that I wanted to invite, and then I'm like, I'm gonna start this year, and I'm gonna get this ready, and I'm gonna get that ready. I did not get it ready. No time seemed like the perfect time. No setup seemed like the perfect setup. No timing seemed like the right fit. And I kept procrastinating until 3 solid years passed me by. So today when I was talking to Keisha and I'm like, it's so true. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. Sometimes we're critiquing ourselves so badly. Sometimes people don't even notice these flaws or these errors. And we're just like straight ahead running everything for ourselves before we can even say jack. Okay? So he was like, I had to go to God, pray to God and say, God, this is what I want to do. I need you to guide me. I need you to, get me on my path. I need you to make everything work out just fine. And I remember when I got into 2024, I was like, oh, I'm going to do it my birthday, January 16th. And I'm like, no, let me do it Valentine's Day. I was always looking for some kind of event to tie it to say, yo, I'm going to start this and, make that big announcement. I'm like, January passed, nothing happened. February passed, nothing happened. March passed. And then Easter came. And then I'm like, you know what? I would just keep pushing and pushing and pushing this. And it may never happen in 2024 will pass me by. I didn't start in the first quarter. And I'm like, I didn't know where to start from. I was just wanting everything to be perfect, everything to be right, everything to be fit. Every corners, every clicks, I wanted everything to be intact before I can make a move. But guess what? Nothing seemed to be right. Nothing seemed to be perfect. And then I'm like, okay, how am I gonna manage the time zones? Because now I'm on another time zone, and then I'm no more on GMT time zone. Now I'm going to Eastern time zone, and blah blah. I'm like, Then, as God could have it, my digital business community coach came about a 90-day challenge for the community to say, business owners, you need to get, you need to level up your game. You need to stop procrastinating on certain things. You need to take action. You have made a decision to start your business. You do not want procrastination to, discourage you from going forward and stuff like that. I'm sorry. And that was like an open door for me. And I remember she was starting like when she made the announcement, she was like, matter of fact, we're not starting tomorrow, we're starting today. And I'm like, you know what, Thelma? You might as well just start today because nothing will ever feel right. I mean, this is May 1st. It's a new slate for you to get started. It's a new beginning. It's a beginning of the new month. You want to get started real quick. Guess what? That May 1st, I started around 9 p.m. EST, 9:15 or 9:30 EST time. That's like past midnight on the GMT time zone and West African time zone and stuff like that, and other time zones. Okay. And then I told myself, no time zone is perfect because Eastern time zone may be 9 p.m., but at that time in Australia, it was probably in the morning. In India and Japan, the time was just right if I want to start in the morning. So then I told myself, if I am going to wait for the perfect time zone, I will not start. Because a lot of times we're waiting for the right moment. We're waiting for the right moment to say something. We're waiting for the right atmosphere. We're just waiting for for what seem in our head to be the right things. But quite often that create an enabling environment for procrastination because almost always we create the right atmosphere, we create the right moments, we create the right timing, we create everything, we create the moment and call it right. There's no perfect timing. There's no perfect grammar. There's no perfect sentence. There's no perfect time to express your feelings. There's no perfect time to start that business. There's no perfect time to register for that course. There's no perfect time to propose to that loved one, to that lover of your life. There's no perfect time to pop the right question. There's no perfect time to rekindle your spiritual fire. There is no perfect time. Pick whatever time you have and make it perfect. Make it the right moment. Okay? Now let's jump to my notes. Perfectionism in an overview. Perfectionism is where you're pursuing flawlessness in setting exceedingly high expectations for yourself. It's great to have expectations, do not get me wrong. But if you dwell on perfectionism, you may never get started. Okay? You may never get started. Whether you are joining me from LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, I want to welcome you to tonight's episode of Chat with Themmy. It's day 30 of the challenge that I set up for myself on May 1st, and I'm excited to be here tonight to finally hit my 30th day. And of course, I am definitely going to continue this because I love that you're here. I love that I get to spend quality time with you. I love that we're learning, we're unlearning, we're relearning. I love that we're engaging. I love that we're building a community and we're in expectations every night to show up for each other. Okay? I love that. And I am grateful that you spend your time with me. I am so grateful that you could be anywhere else. You could be sleeping if it's your night, but sometimes you're up with me. You could be working if it's your day, but you choose to spend your hours with me. All right. And you could be anywhere else in the day, but you choose to spend your time with me. So I am very happy that you're here. So sometimes to want to wait for the right things is great. Okay. We're all looking for, okay, I need the right moment. All right. But if you're looking for complete flawlessness, while striving for excellence is great, perfectionism can involve a lot of different things. Sometimes you're overly critical about your self evaluation. You're like, You're so harsh on yourself. You're like, this should not be there. That should not be there. Great, great, great. My girl is always back on Instagram to support me. I see you, sis, first light. I see you, my darling. Thank you so much for joining again tonight. Um, Tonight we're talking about perfection, how perfectionism can breed, I can breed procrastination. We're always looking for the right moment. We're always looking for the right timing, the right this, the right that, the right setting, the right moment, the right time and stuff like that. And almost always, it's we are the one who set up the right moment. We are the one who set up the right timings. We are the one who needs to take the moment and make it right and make it perfect. Perfectionism can make you be overly critical when you're evaluating yourself. Sometimes you're even more gracious to other people than you are to yourself, and dwelling on your shortcomings or on your flaws and on your weaknesses. Sometimes you'll fear like, what if I fail? You know? I'm sorry. Uh-uh. If you're too afraid to make mistake, that's going to paralyze you. Everybody make mistakes. Everybody, every soul make mistake. That person you admire also make mistake. Okay? The people you look up to also make mistakes. Your fear for failure will only hold you back from taking action. It's going to paralyze your dreams. It's going to paralyze your ambitions. It's better you make an attempt and you miss a shot than not take the attempt at all, because you could get the shot. All right? And if you let your fear paralyze you and you don't take that shot, that means you missed the shot that you did not take. Like automatically you missed that. Okay. Now, the thing is, sometimes we want to go at a project, we want to go at a relationship, we want to go at a business with, it is all or nothing. If it's not perfect, I mean it's a flop, it's a failure. If my pitch is not perfect to me, then I don't want to do the presentation at all. If the song is not perfect, I don't want to sing. If the moment is not right, I don't want to do it. If I don't have all the skills I need to start this business, I would rather not start. Sometimes we go at life with, it's either perfection or nothing. And ask yourself, almost always you end up with nothing. Because there's nothing like perfection. You have to take the bull by the horn. You have to take the moments and make them perfect. All right? So if you're going at life with that all or nothing a mentality, most of the time you end up with nothing. So if you're gonna delay starting a project because it won't meet your high standards, your idea of producing something isn't perfect, it can be overwhelming. And at the end of the day, you're gonna be in a place where you'll rather avoid starting, you'll delay starting, or you would just, you'll not just be motivated to start at all. So sometimes, say for instance, if you're a writer, sometimes you're afraid that when you put your thoughts together on paper, it may not come out. It may not be able to paint the picture you're trying to paint in your storytelling. And then guess what? The world ends up missing out on that unique message you have to impact people, because you allow your fear for imperfection to cripple your action taking. All right? Another thing, over preparation. You want it to be perfect, so you over prepare. Like they have this saying, too much of everything is a mess. It's great to prepare, but don't overdo it. The moment you start overdoing things, you start spending too much time in planning and in preparing. And before you know, you're doing cycles of research, you're revising plans and dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And it's just in that cycle. And you're just whining and whining and whining and whining, waiting for that perfect moment before you start. And like I said, quite often, you don't even start because the moment you start overthinking things, nothing else feel right. I remember when I wanted to invest in my digital business, right? And I was I took 7 months due diligence, research, jumping in the community, connecting with these business owners, seeing the kind of community that is. 7 good months after being a member for me to be able to start. And then when I finally took action, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks good. And I started taking baby steps and baby steps and baby steps. And then I'm like, why did I wait exactly 7 months before I began? All right. Because the knowledge, the healthy environment of these business owners, the skills I'm getting, the learning, the environment just feel right. And I'm like, I delayed my progress by 7 whole months. If I was pregnant in the beginning, definitely. Yes, exactly, Priscilla. A lot of times you end up with nothing if you're dwelling on perfectionism, okay? Due diligence is very important. Do not get me wrong. It's great to do due diligence. But the thing is, it's a mindset thing. How much of due diligence do you need? How much time do you need to do your due diligence for? What and what can you put together to be able to arrive at that final decision to say, okay, now it's action time? Everything in life is a risk. But I'll tell you for free, take calculated risks. But it's still risks. Okay? Everything in life is a risk. Everything is a risk. But take calculated risks. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you want to be very careful in what you're doing to not end up, you know, losing everything. Okay? But at the same time, when is the right moment? How much of research can you do? How much of time do you need to do due diligence? And the same goes for me when I post a scholarship link. Most of the time, I delay posting a particular information because, let's say, for instance, if I come across an information or someone sends me an information about scholarship they saw somewhere and stuff like that, I would usually go through that information, make sure I click all the clickables, check the sites, make sure that it leads me to a genuine site that is legit before I share with my community. And sometimes, I am sorry, y'all, but sometimes some of these opportunities do not make it to my social media community. Why? Because I'm like, well, I didn't check that. I don't want to, I don't want to risk my community, hitting a link that is not genuine or that's scam or something. I apologize, but sometimes I have to do those things. So what I try to do is, okay, one way I can, manage my time and be able to share these opportunities with my community is to connect with genuine people in a space, people who, instead of now going to click all the links and do due diligence by reading and reading and reading, so I'm able to answer your questions. Those are some of the things that happen behind the scenes. What I do is I make sure I'm connecting with genuine people to get this information. Okay? So there are quality people I follow that share certain information that I know, okay, if this person is sharing this, I don't need to dig too much. I can just go ahead and share with my community. It's safe enough to share with my community for them to be able to access it or tap into that. Okay? So, uh, uh but if I come across the stuff and stuff like that, I have to go read. All right. So before I started my online business, I had to take time to learn. I had to take time to research. I had to take time to study the community and make sure that it is what I'm looking for. And if you're wondering what my online business is a digital marketing business where I help everyday people set up their own digital marketing business to be able to make extra stream of income. All right. So if you're thinking, how can you get started? Just quickly go to this website, www.drivedigital.us, and register with your name and your email and watch the webinar that's on there. If you're a mom that stay at home, if you know your job or your activity is taking away time from you, from your family, and you're looking to start a side gig or side hustle that will not draw all your time away from you, but it's going to help you to set up an extra stream of income, definitely check out this website and learn a bit from the webinar. If you need any extra support or questions you may have, be sure to DM me. I'll be happy to answer your questions, okay? So now back to our topic. Perfectionism breeds procrastination. All right? So when you are overly preparing, sometimes you say, for instance, you're a student, you spend your entire week researching for an essay, but you are scared to get it started because you feel you need more information to get it right. Sometimes you're studying and then you find yourself burning the candles for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and 5 hours, and 6 hours because you're like, well, I don't have enough of this particular maybe section A. I don't have enough information on section B, on part C, on this and this, and you're just overly burning your brain because you think you're not prepared. Sometimes you're doing tons of research until you're not even able to get your project started. How about learning as you go along? You do some research, you jot stuff down, you learn as you go. As you're reviewing things, you're putting all the pieces together for it to make perfect sense just the way you imagine it. Okay? And then there is the analysis paralysis, the sister to over preparation and the sister to the brother fear of imperfection. You're stuck in the planning phase because you're analyzing every single thing. You're analyzing every detail. You want to avoid potential mistake. What may look like a mirage that's ahead of you, you want to be able to clear that off before it even happens. And then you start being indecisive and then you can't take action. You want to perfect your business proposal. You want to perfect your essays until you miss the deadline. Imagine there's a business opportunity maybe for a grant or a business loan, or maybe there's a scholarship opportunity, and then you're just overly going over your essays because you want it to be right. You're going over your proposal because you want it to be pitch perfect. And then before you know, you lose sight of the timeline. And then by the time you have satisfied your desire for perfection or the perfect written essay, the deadline has passed. Auntie, who did you do that to? Did it to yourself. All right. So it's great to desire perfection, but at the same time, you want to be able to take chances on life. Okay. Now, there's another cousin to analysis paralysis. That's the fear of evaluation. You fear how others will judge your work. Oh, Thelma did the live. Oh, why was she sounding like that? Is she sick? Oh, this person, they didn't do the live today. Oh, they did not share their screen today. Oh, Librarians will say, the thing you know about me, okay. Anything you do, people will talk. You yourself, it's just part of human being for us to judge. So if you fear evaluation, you will never ever take action. Okay? If you're scared of how people are going to judge your work, to judge your performance, to judge your presentation, to judge your stage presence, to judge how you play the instrument, to judge your business proposal, to judge your essay, if you're afraid that they're going to judge you, you're not going to take action. I'm looking at you. Okay? If you're afraid for people to judge you, you are not going to take action. So you might as well just get on with it because people are going to talk. All right? People are definitely going to talk. People are going to evaluate you the same way you have the tendency of judging other people's work. You want to avoid it can be so daunting when you're so scared of criticism and negative feedback, and then you try to avoid submitting or presenting your work altogether or entirely. Imagine if I hadn't submit my, you know, I'll say you want to write your book and then you're scared that you don't want to send it to a publisher because before the thing even gets to the publisher, you're scared that they'll reject your work. And then you end up not sending your manuscript to the publisher. All right? Perfectionism can delay your accomplishment. Like I said, before I started my digital business, I took 7 months to make sure, oh, I dotted my T's and dotted my I's and crossed my T's and did X and did Y and did A, B, C, D's and did all sort of things all the way to Z because I was waiting for the perfect moment to be able to get started. And then once I took action, I'm like, why didn't I start 7 months ago? What was I really waiting for? What was I really looking for? Perfectionism can delay your accomplishment. If you are supposed to accomplish something in 5 years and you delay by 3 years because you were waiting for the perfect moment, say for instance, I started Child with Themmy 2021. Let me use myself as an example. I started Child with Themmy 2021 and then I encountered some hurdles and some challenges. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back bigger and better. I'm going to come back with my tripod, with my lights inside, because I was using my ironing board at the time right off of my front porch. That was where I was going live every Friday in 2021. And I'll sit in my dining room chair and I'll prep myself with pillows and stuff. And before I start to go live. And then when I encountered some challenges, I stopped. And the thing about delay is when you slow down, I'm sorry, when you slow down and then a week pass, 2 weeks pass, 3 weeks and a month, before you know 2 months pass, guess what? You start to say, oh, well, I mean, nobody's expecting me to come back again. It's okay. I'm not going to do this. Like, I should have done this a long time ago. And at some point, I started feeling that, saying, well, nobody's going to get used to chat with him again. Nobody's going to watch me. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm not going to make impact and stuff like that. And then I told myself, now, Thelma, you need to work on your consistency. You need to work on showing up diligently, irrespective of how your day goes, irrespective of what happens. You need to continue to show up. If you encounter a hurdle and you cannot show up on the three platforms, make sure you show up one way or the other. And once that stuck in my head, I realized it was not about perfection, but it was about me enjoying the journey and learning to stay consistent in the journey. Once I realized that, nothing stopped me again. If I am not with my laptop and I cannot go live on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, I'm with my phone, I have two options. I can go live on Facebook or I can go live on Instagram. But a few times I didn't go live across all three platforms. I just go live on Facebook because that's where I have my biggest community of 15K people. On Instagram I have like 2K people. So if I'm not showing up on a day on Instagram and maybe I am not with my laptop or maybe I encounter a rough day or something, but I promise you I am gonna show up because that's a commitment I had to make to myself. All right. In May, I started this back on first of May because I wanted to learn. I wanted to take this moment to learn. I wanted to show up irrespective of what happens to my day or how my day turns out. And I am happy I started that journey because at the end of the day, I had you to give me the extra support. In as much as I was determined to say, whether or not someone shows up, whether or not someone comes, I want to build this habit of consistency. I'm sorry. I want to build a habit of consistency. I want to be able to strengthen myself while I make impact. Because every now and then when I show up, once in a blue moon or every other time, I get like, oh, this is so inspiring. Oh, thank you for sharing your message with the world and blah blah blah. And I'm like, so what's stopping me from being consistent? So I need to push some buttons on me. And then I'm like, I have to do this. I am gonna do this. I'm gonna be gracious with myself. I'm gonna be flexible enough, but I want to learn some lessons. And for the past 30 days, all the lessons I have learned. The lessons I have learned for the past 30 days of showing up live, of showing up for my business, of showing up to spend quality time with my community and offer so much value. The things I have learned, guys, it's amazing. I have come to realize that whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. And it's just something about you putting in the atmosphere that I want to do this, I want to accomplish this, I want to execute, I want to be intentional about this. Yo, everywhere I turn, I got a new topic to talk about. Conversations, content on social media, work, every single thing. Family, my baby. All right. Every single day, I have something new to learn. I have something new to share. It starts with the mindset. Perfectionism will delay your accomplishment. Perfectionism reduces your productivity. The time you take to over prepare and over criticize yourself, you could be accomplishing tasks. You could be checking things off your boxes. You could be completing tasks and filling in the potholes as you go. Sometimes you spend too much time working on your business plan that you forget to execute it, to actually be in business. Entrepreneurs, I'm speaking to us now. Sometimes we spend too much time making our business look good on paper and we forget to actually make our business stronger physically. All right. If you have questions, please do drop it in the comments. If it's on LinkedIn and Instagram, I'll definitely pull it up on the screen. If it's on LinkedIn on Facebook, I can pull it up on the screen and be able to read. If it's on Instagram, I can only read from the Instagram comment section. So please do send questions if you have. I'm going to be wrapping up really shortly. Perfectionism will diminish your satisfaction. If you're looking for something that's pitch perfect, that's spotless, that's flawless, that's magazine kind of perfect, guess what? You may never be satisfied with the results you're going to get. But if you focus on a journey and how much impact that journey is gonna make or be or create, guess what? You will not even want to take a day more before you can start it or get things in motion. Okay. Perfectionism will increase your stress. Literally, it will increase your PP, my people. Because you're like, I need to get this going. I'm sorry. Oh, it need to look this way. It need to look that way. Or it need to look this way. And before you know, the slightest mistake, something is off. And that brings you from 100 to 0. Okay? So, okay, so the question I have here is how much due diligence is too much? I would say set a target for yourself, even with human being, right? Set a target for yourself. All right. Here's what I do most of the time. I let myself know that I let myself know that life involves risks, but I need to take calculated risks. So for me, I don't look at time frame in when I'm doing due diligence. I look at I look at value in terms of what's the worst that could happen. That's how I do due diligence. What's the worst that could happen if I'm about to make a decision? If, especially when it comes to business or spending money, it's like, what's the worst that could happen if I don't do this? What's the best that could happen? And by the time I mark off some things to say, okay, first and foremost, I need to make sure that this is legit. All right. Once this is legitimate, that's like 50% of my due diligence is already done. All right. Then I start to look at, then I start to look at, then I start to look at, you know, how much investment do I need to make? Is it going to take the life out of me? Then, I don't want to do it financially or, emotionally. That's how I do my due diligence. Okay. So whether it's people, if it's people, I'm going to check a few references of people that know you, not uprightly that they can come ask you, but if it's people also, I'm going to test you in some ways. And then once I realize that, okay, it looks okay for an investment, then yes, I take the shot. But I don't look at time frames when I'm doing due diligence. I look at, is this legit? If it is, 50% of my work is done. All right. And the next thing, I want to know how much it's going to cost me to invest into this financially, emotionally, spiritually. What is it going to take out of me to be able to get involved with this, to make a commitment to this? What is it going to take me? Once I check that off my box, that's like 75% of my work is done. And sometimes it may not reach 100%. Okay. So once I can get to a comfortable mark and I know that, okay, um, I've hit this place. There's the amount of due diligence. This are the things I was looking for when I was doing my due diligence. I'm going to hit the green light. I'm going to hit go. All right. I'm definitely going to hit the green light. My cousin says she's a calculator. Well, I mean, you just want to, in everything you do, you just want to be able to make sure that you're not procrastinating. Because if you're too scared, say for instance, someone would say, oh, I don't want to invest in the stock market because, it's a 50-50 chance, or you're going to make a lot of losses before you make wins. Everything in life, you make a lot of losses before you make a win, or you make a lot of losses, or you take a loss before you take a win. That's for everything in life. Sometimes before you find true love, you're going to get your heart broken. All right. So that's just life. So in life, everything is risky, but you want to make sure you're taking calculated risks here, because you don't want to miss out on opportunities because you're so scared to start or you're too scared to give it a shot. At the same time, You don't want to go in blindly before you're ripped off of everything you've worked so hard for. All right? So, to be able to break out of the cycle of perfectionism and then or perfectionism induced procrastination, you want to be able to set realistic goals. Like for me, my realistic goal for Chat with Themmy was I want to stay consistent, irrespective of whatever happens. I want to show up daily. I could choose 90 days. I'm like, I'm going to start with 30 days. Let's see how it goes. Then I can go to the next phase. Then I can go to the next phase. Because I felt like I was going to be overwhelmed if I taxed myself to do a 90-day challenge. I'm like, let me go with 30 days. 30 days might be too much for you. Start with a day. Start with 24 hours. Start with 3 hours. Start with 6 hours. What does it look like for you? Okay? You want to be able to embrace mistakes. You want to be able to manage your time. Understand that mistakes is part of life. Mistakes are part of life. All right? So if you're avoiding mistakes, you're never going to take action because nobody you know in this life got it right the first time. Nobody got it right the first time. Nobody's going to get it right the first time. So learn to embrace mistakes so you don't allow your perfectionism to overshadow you and you don't get to take action because you're waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to get everything sorted. Oh, I'm waiting to, proofread my essays and, proofread my application. You're still working on, you're being thorough with your application until the deadline for submission has passed. It's not going to do you any good. If you're going to wait for the perfect moment, if you bring into the table that all or nothing mentality, most of the time you end up with nothing because you end up not taking action. Okay? So, another thing you want to do is, let me grab this. Another thing you want to do is, you want to be able to manage your time. When do you want to execute this? You want to be able to not over prepare yourself. Keep in mind the deadline. You want to focus on progress, not so much of hitting your milestone. Like, okay, I want to get to this place. What can I check off my list? What does progress look like to me? You want to be able to seek feedback. You want to embrace feedback, both positive and negative feedback. Okay? You want to be able to embrace feedback. What can help you relax? What can help you to manage your stress and your anxiety that is associated with you being a perfectionist? What helps you to stay calm and get things going? You want to be able to do that more often. All right? As I am wrapping up tonight, I want to say thanks for joining me from LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Today is officially day 30 of Chat with Themmy, and I am humbled that you stayed with me through this journey. You encouraged me, you engaged with me, you supported me by watching coming live with me, and sometimes watching the replays in case you missed out on it, and even engaging. I am so grateful. I do not take your presence for granted. With God and with you, I was able to make it to day 30. And I feel so blessed to have you always show up and spend quality time with me. Okay? Tomorrow is the 31st of May, and I am super, 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 super grateful that you have been here with me as we're wrapping up the month for tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be doing this again in June, and I'm hoping to get to chat with some amazing people. So get ready for some fresh faces, all right? So keep me in your prayers. My fingers are crossed, my knees are on the ground, and I am looking forward to an amazing next phase. Today's 30 days, and I'm looking to share my learnings or my lessons from these past 30 days of doing this and spending this quality time with you. I am grateful. And until tomorrow, my name is Thelma Titi Ahamba, the one and only host for Chat with Themmy. I want to say have a good night and God bless. Bye-bye.